going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Nalo Kicking Knowledge. Today, we'll be discussing Mars in Gemini and what it's like to have Mars in Gemini in your astrological natal chart. So, let's get into it. Now, quick disclaimer, those of you who've been rocking with me, for a while know, I rarely do certain types of videos and certain types of settings, but I am indeed driving right now, and I'm going to do this video. Reason being, because we're talking about Mars in Gemini. And, being the occultist that I am, I just try to extract and channel the symbology out of everything. All right? So, I'm doing a very Mars in Gemini thing. So, what is Mars? Mars is our energy, our willpower, our drive, our sense of passion, right? It correlates to things like our sexual drive, our self-confidence, our sense of courage, how we defend ourselves, how we express anger. Gemini is a sign of the intellect, of learning, of communication, of duality. It's ruled by Mercury, the planet of the mind. And Gemini very much so corresponds to lower mind thinking and communication, opinions. This is what I think. Now, first thing you need to know about these people, I feel like it's one of those positions where you have natural markers. So you have the planet of energy and aggressiveness, and coming into the sign of communication. So right off the bat, you have someone who is an aggressive communicator, someone who has a lot of mental energy, right? Because the house of the planet of energy is in the house of intellect. So regardless of where this Mars ends up, the person has a mental orientation towards life, and that mental orientation is really gonna take shape in regards to wherever that house is, what area of life it is. And this is really it makes the individual more intellectually inclined than normal, because remember, Mars is like how I'm gonna go about something. So if Mars is in Leo, Mars is like, I'm going to go about it in a creative way. If Mars is in Aries, I'm going to just go about it in a straightforward, aggressive kind of way. So with it being a Gemini, it's an intellectual approach. So what I've seen with this is that I feel like Mars naturally likes being here because of the youthfulness and, the energy. The energy it picks up from Gemini, it likes, right? So if this ends up like on the angles, 1st, 4th, 7, 10, this Mars in Gemini becomes a strong part of the person's personality. And even so, and even much more if you're an actual Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising, okay? That influence, it really colors this Mars in Gemini. So if you have a sun in Aries in the 10th house, this is going to likely be someone who regardless gravitates towards something Gemini in nature, because Mars is that depositor. Okay, so you have a really aggressive communicator, a really active mind, and this leads these people to be quite productive. So you can get a lot out of this Mars. But here's the thing. What's Gemini's problem? Jack of all trades, master of none. What is Aries' problem? It likes to start but doesn't necessarily finish. So what happens in the path of Mars and Gemini individuals early on in youth, they excel at something very early on, okay? And it's likely that because of the link of, especially if Sun is in the same element or in the same sign, that can easily be the first thing the person does to adequately express their ego, okay? So what I'm saying is here, pay attention to that first thing that you are passionate about. And whatever it is that you know for a fact that, like, okay, I am good at this, people have told me, I just need to discipline myself. Stick with it, okay? Because it's a vicious cycle Mars and Gemini can end up in. If this is a Mars and Gemini like in the 6th house, this is a person, or the 10th house, a person who has a lot of jobs, working for others, but never necessarily being fulfilled, okay? So always with Gemini energy, you run the chance of doing a lot, but actually accomplishing nothing. So Mars and Gemini, you have to pay attention to the signs. Pay attention to what kind of strokes your ego, what, makes you feel alive. Then, just like with anything, there's gonna be a point, check your Saturn, where you're gonna have to discipline yourself a little bit more. So one thing that Mars and Gemini can struggle with is growing up and assuming responsibility. They like this energy of lightness, okay? And they could kind of almost react in a very like, I'm done with this kind of way. Like a kid is like, all right, I've been playing with this toy, but this toy is not really interesting no more. I'm done with it, right? Mars and Gemini can run into a vicious cycle of this. So you really want to force yourself to be more mature in certain scenarios, okay? Ask yourself, okay, am I being an adult? Am I carrying my weight? Am I doing what I can in regards to this area of life, okay? So then the next thing with this, like I said, so there's a lot of mental energy. So this Mars can naturally excel at things that require research or require you to express your opinion or be kind of quick oriented. So jobs that keep them on their feet, jobs that keep them mentally stimulated would be good. So you gotta understand, like, you can have a Mars and Gemini with a particular position that's happy and fulfilled being like a truck driver. Say this Mars and Gemini in the 9th, they get to travel, they have the freedom at work and that energy. All right. So in a more concentrated way, guys, you have to figure out a way in which to stimulate this Mars. And it's not going to be, you can't just do it intellectually. There's going to be an element of physical activity. So check where your Mars is deposited. So all in all, with this position, you want to find the identity for the Mars. And naturally, the identity is going to come in conjunction with where the sun is. So keep this in mind. Mars lives to serve the king. And in Gemini, it's the king's messenger. It's the king's right hand. So wherever your sun sign is, you're going to bring your intellect at worst towards your sun. So let's say you're a Cancer sun with a Mars in Gemini. And this happens to be going on in the 10th and the 11th house. So Mars is in the 10th house. The sun is in the 11th house. In this scenario, Mars's Gemini qualities of communication and being able to network will serve the 11th house. So the more one can facilitate and network, the more the 11th house opens up. And Mars's motivation for doing this is 10th house things, okay? So look where your sun is, look where Aries is, and then see how the intellect is expressing itself, where the interests and talents are. I love sports. And so one of the ways I always evaluate, and the Mars being, that athlete, that warrior in us, I'm always looking like, okay, what signs are good athletes produced in? And Mars and Gemini is one of them. This can lend to having a naturally flexible body, naturally ambidextrous, and all in all, like I said, excelling at sports could be one of the first things that these people do. But obviously these will be the type of athletes or sport, they do more than just their sport. They're well-rounded, okay? But at some point, they had to focus in on that particular thing if they mastered it. So really good athletes, and like I said, there's a need for physical activity with this position. Then the next thing, schooling, man, it's one of those where aspects are going to tell more of the story, but Mars and Gemini could be their own worst enemy in terms of school, because you have ones where it's like, oh, school's too easy. I could do it. I just don't. Is that smart? No, it's not. You'll thrive. Remember, this Mars needs direction. School provides direction. You're naturally competitive, so you're being within that arena naturally stirs up those juices. So Mars and Gemini, the more successful ones, have used schooling, and in mind you, this doesn't have to be traditional schooling. It's like specialization. You want to find some way to tap into that Sagittarian energy to where you're using your Mars to live your truth. Okay, so especially with Mars going through, the North Node going through Gemini right now. I've been telling a lot of people, this is a good time to learn a new skill, go back to school, know where you thrive at. Okay, there's a lot here with this Mars. If it's connected to relationships and you feel like there's discord, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Yeah, all right. So it's a little bit about Mars and Gemini. Feel free to chime in. Let me know what you think. If you have Mars and Gemini and you want to read, then contact me. This can apply towards progress, natal, solar return, all of that. Okay. So share this, subscribe to my channel. Till next time, peace.